She took her only daughter to her friend's wedding, only to see her billionaire ex, her child's father, marrying the same friend. Sarah's hand trembled as she held her 5-year-old daughter's tiny fingers, standing frozen at the entrance of the grand ballroom. The elegant welcome board with gold lettering seemed to mock her. "Welcome to the wedding of Victoria Thomas Mitchell." Her heart stopped. Thomas. Her Thomas. The man who didn't know that the little girl beside her, dressed in a pink flower girl dress, was his daughter. "Mommy, why did you stop walking?" Lily tugged at her hand, her innocent brown eyes, so much like her father's, looking up with confusion. Welcome back to our channel, everyone. I'm Mr. J, bringing you another powerful story of love, betrayal, and the consequences of our choices. Before we dive into Sarah's shocking discovery, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell if you're new here, and comment below where you're watching from. I love connecting with viewers worldwide. Sarah forced a smile, her mind racing. Just admiring how beautiful everything looks, sweetheart. But nothing about this was beautiful. This was a nightmare wrapped in white roses and fairy lights. Victoria, her best friend for 8 years, the woman who'd held her through crying sessions when Thomas left, was marrying him. And she had no idea. "Miss Sarah," the wedding coordinator rushed over. "Thank goodness you're here. Lily needs to be in the bridal suite for photos in 10 minutes. "Of course," Sarah managed, though her legs felt like jelly. As they walked through the opulent venue, memories crashed over her like waves. 6 years ago, she'd been in Thomas's penthouse, young and naive, believing love conquered all. How wrong she'd been. "Lily's going to be the most beautiful flower girl," an elderly woman commented, passing by. "She looks just like someone, but I can't place it." Sarah's stomach churned. She knew exactly who Lily looked like. Thomas's late mother, whose portrait hung in his family estate. The same delicate features, the same distinctive eyes. It was only a matter of time before someone made the connection. In the bridal suite, Victoria stood radiant in her designer gown, surrounded by bridesmaids. When she saw Sarah, her face lit up. "Sarah, my lifesaver and my precious flower girl." Victoria knelt to hug Lily, and Sarah wanted to scream. This was wrong, all of it. "You look beautiful," Sarah said, the words ash in her mouth. "Can you believe it? Me marrying Thomas Mitchell, the Thomas Mitchell?" Victoria spun, her dress billowing. 6 months ago, I was crying over my ex, and then I met him at that charity gala you couldn't attend because Lily was sick," Sarah remembered. The night Lily had a fever was the night Victoria met Thomas, the universe's cruel joke. "He's everything I dreamed of," Victoria continued, oblivious to Sarah's distress. "Successful, generous, those eyes. Though he seems sad sometimes. He mentioned losing someone he loved years ago. Made some mistake he can't forgive himself for." Sarah's heart clenched. He'd said that? After what he'd done? "Mommy, I need to use the bathroom," Lily whispered. "I'll take her," Sarah said quickly, desperate to escape. In the bathroom, Sarah splashed cold water on her face while Lily was in the stall. She had to get through this, for Lily, for Victoria, who didn't deserve to have her wedding ruined by past secrets. "Mommy, why don't I have a daddy like other kids?" Lily asked suddenly from the stall, the question she'd been dreading. "You have me, baby, and I love you enough for 2 parents. But Emma from school says everyone has a daddy somewhere." Sarah closed her eyes. "We'll talk about it later, sweetheart. Today is Miss Victoria's special day." When they returned, the photographer was arranging everyone for photos. Sarah tried to fade into the background, but Victoria insisted she be in some shots. "You're not just my friend, you're family," Victoria said, squeezing her hand. If only she knew. The music started, signaling the ceremony would begin soon. Bridesmaids lined up, and Sarah helped Lily with her flower basket, filled with rose petals. "Remember, sweetie, walk slowly and scatter the petals gently," Sarah instructed, her voice steady despite her inner turmoil. "I know, Mommy. I practiced lots." Lily beamed, excited about her important role. Sarah took her seat, deliberately choosing one behind a pillar with an obstructed view. Maybe if she couldn't see Thomas, she could pretend this wasn't happening. But as the wedding march began and Lily started down the aisle, Sarah couldn't help but peek around the pillar. And there he was. Thomas Mitchell stood at the altar in an impeccable black tuxedo, looking every inch the billionaire he'd become. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his posture confident. But Sarah knew him well enough to see the tension in his shoulders, the way his fingers tapped against his leg, his old nervous habit. Then Lily reached the middle of the aisle, and Thomas's eyes found her. Sarah watched in slow motion as his expression changed. Confusion, recognition, shock. His face paled, and he actually swayed slightly. His best man steadied him with a concerned look. Lily, oblivious to the drama, continued her careful petal scattering, smiling at the ooh and ah sounds from the guests. When she reached the altar, she looked up at Thomas with those big brown eyes, his eyes, and smiled. "Hi, I'm Lily," she announced cheerfully, as children do. Thomas's mouth opened, but no sound came out. He stared at the child like he was seeing a ghost, because in a way, he was. Lily was the spitting image of his mother at that age, down to the dimple in her left cheek. "Thomas?" the officiant prompted quietly. He snapped back to attention, but his eyes kept darting to where Lily now sat with the bridesmaids. The music changed, and Victoria appeared at the entrance, radiant and glowing. Sarah wanted to run. Every instinct screamed at her to grab Lily and flee, but she was trapped by social convention and her promise to Victoria. As Victoria glided down the aisle, Sarah noticed Thomas wasn't looking at his bride. His gaze kept finding Lily, then scanning the crowd, looking for her. She shrank further behind the pillar. The ceremony proceeded, but Thomas was distracted. He fumbled his vows, had to be prompted twice, and his hands shook as he held Victoria's. When the officiant asked if anyone objected, Sarah held her breath, half expecting Thomas to object to his own wedding. But he didn't. He kissed Victoria when prompted, and they were pronounced husband and wife. The crowd erupted in applause, and Sarah used the chaos to slip out a side door. In the hallway, she leaned against the wall, trying to catch her breath. She had to make it through the reception, then she and Lily could disappear. Victoria would understand if she said Lily was tired. "Sarah." She froze. That voice, deep, familiar, full of barely controlled emotion. Thomas stood at the end of the hallway, having somehow extracted himself from his own receiving line. He looked older, harder, but those eyes were the same ones that had once looked at her with love. "We need to talk," he said. "No, we don't. Go back to your wedding, Thomas. Your wife is waiting." "That little girl is none of your concern. She looks exactly like my mother." His voice cracked. "Sarah, is she—" "Your mother is dead. Any resemblance is coincidence." Sarah turned to leave, but he caught her arm. "Don't lie to me, not about this. Is she mine?" Sarah yanked free. "You lost the right to ask that question when you chose your inheritance over us. When you looked me in the eye and said I was just a phase, that you needed to marry someone suitable. I didn't know. Because you didn't want to know. You made your choice, Thomas. Live with it." "Mommy." They both turned. Lily stood in the doorway, looking confused and a little scared. "Hey, baby. I was just coming to find you," Sarah said, forcing calm into her voice. Lily's gaze moved to Thomas, studying him with that intense focus children sometimes have. "You're the man from the wedding, the one who looked sad." Thomas knelt slowly, bringing himself to her eye level. Yes, I'm sorry if I looked sad. Weddings make me emotional." "Me too," Lily said solemnly. "Mommy cried at the last wedding we went to. She said it was happy tears, but they looked like sad tears to me." "Lily, we should go," Sarah started. "What's your name?" Thomas asked softly. "Lily Sarah Chen. Mommy says I'm named after flowers because I make life beautiful." Thomas's intake of breath was audible. Chen. Sarah had given her his mother's maiden name. "That's a beautiful name for a beautiful girl," he managed. "Thomas, there you are." Victoria appeared, slightly out of breath, her wedding dress rustling. "The photographer needs us for—" "Oh." She noticed the strange tableau. Her new husband kneeling before a child, Sarah looking like she might faint. "Just meeting our flower girl properly," Thomas said, standing slowly. "She did a wonderful job." "She was perfect," Victoria beamed, oblivious to the tension. "Sarah, I've been looking for you. It's time for the reception. Lily, sweetheart, the other children are having juice and cookies in the kids' room if you want to join them before dinner." "Can I, Mommy?" Lily asked. Sarah nodded, not trusting her voice. A wedding assistant appeared to take Lily, and she skipped off happily. "Sarah, are you feeling all right? You look pale," Victoria said, concerned. "Just a bit warm, I'll be fine." "Well, come on then. I'm not doing the reception without my best friend there." Victoria linked arms with both Sarah and Thomas, chattering about the ceremony as she led them to the ballroom. Sarah caught Thomas's eye over Victoria's head. His expression was tortured, full of questions and dawning realizations. She looked away. This was his wedding day, his choice. Again, the reception was torture. Sarah was seated at a table near the bridal party, close enough to see every moment of Thomas's distraction. He went through the motions, the first dance, the toasts, the cake cutting, but his eyes constantly searched for Lily. During the best man's speech, full of jokes about Thomas being a confirmed bachelor until Victoria tamed him, Sarah noticed Thomas wasn't laughing. He was staring at Lily, who was coloring at the children's table. "Have you ever experienced a moment that changed everything?" The comment during dinner came from an elderly aunt at Sarah's table. "Sometimes we don't realize what we've lost until it's staring us in the face." Sarah excused herself and headed for the gardens. She needed air, space, distance from the suffocating weight of secrets. The gardens were lit with fairy lights, romantic and peaceful. Sarah found a bench in a secluded corner and finally let the tears fall. 6 years of strength, of single motherhood, of pretending she was fine. It all came crashing down. "I know." She jerked up. Thomas stood there, hands in his pockets, his bow tie undone. "You shouldn't be here. It's your wedding reception." "I know she's mine, Sarah. The age, the name, the fact that she looks exactly like my mother. But I need to hear you say it." Sarah stood, anger replacing tears. "Why? So you can feel guilty. So you can play the victim. You made your choice, Thomas. You chose money over love. You chose your family's approval over me. And you know what? I'm glad. Because Lily deserves better than a father who would abandon her mother for a trust fund. I didn't know you were pregnant. Would it have mattered?" Sarah's voice broke. "Would you have chosen differently? Or would your family have just seen her as another obstacle to remove?" Thomas flinched as if slapped. "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? Fair would have been you fighting for us. Fair would have been you standing up to your family. Fair would have been you loving me enough to choose me. I did love you. Not enough." The words hung between them like a blade. "Never enough." "I tried to find you," he said quietly. "After my parents died in that accident 2 years ago. After I realized what I'd thrown away for their approval. But you disappeared. I didn't disappear. I survived. I raised our daughter alone while you played billionaire bachelor. And now you're married to my best friend, who has no idea she's wearing a ring meant for someone suitable, someone your parents would approve of. That's not... Victoria isn't like that. I care about her. But you don't love her." It wasn't a question. Sarah could see it in his eyes, the same emptiness she'd seen at the altar. "I thought I could. I thought it would be enough. And then I saw Lily, and everything I've been running from for 6 years hit me at once." "Mommy? Mr. Thomas?" They both turned. Lily stood at the garden entrance holding Victoria's hand. Victoria's face was white, her expression shattered. "How long?" Victoria's voice was barely a whisper. "Victoria, I can explain..." Thomas started. "How long?" Each word was ice. 6 years ago," Sarah said quietly. "Before you and I were close. I never told you who Lily's father was because you knew I'd never date my friend's ex. You knew, and you let me fall in love with him. You stood there in my bridal suite, helped me get ready to marry the father of your child, and said nothing. I didn't know you were dating him until today. You said you were marrying Thomas Mitchell, but I never imagined it was the same. There aren't that many billionaire Thomas Mitchells in the city, Sarah. Victoria's voice rose. You knew. Some part of you had to know. Mommy, why is everyone upset? Lily asked, pressing closer to Sarah. It's okay, baby. Adult conversations sometimes get emotional. Is it because of me? Did I do something wrong? No, all three adults said simultaneously. Victoria looked at Lily, and her expression crumbled. Oh my God, she looks just like the portrait in your family home. Your mother's portrait. How did I not see it? Because you weren't looking for it, Thomas said quietly. No one was. Sarah made sure of that. Don't you dare blame her, Victoria snapped. You're the one who abandoned her. You're the one who chose money over love. And you're the one who stood at that altar today knowing you were marrying the wrong woman. Victoria, no, I'm done. She pulled off her wedding ring and threw it at his feet. The marriage is annulled. I'll have my lawyer contact yours. You can't annul a marriage after one day, Thomas said. Watch me. Non-consummation and fraud are both grounds, and I'd say marrying me while in love with someone else counts as fraud. Victoria turned to Sarah. I'll never forgive you for this, either of you. She walked away, her wedding dress trailing behind her like a ghost. This is why I didn't want you to know, Sarah said to Thomas. This is what truth does. It destroys everything. The lies destroyed everything long before the truth, Thomas replied, staring at the ring on the ground. Lily tugged on Sarah's hand. Is Mr. Thomas my daddy? The question hung in the air like a sword. Sarah looked at her daughter, then at Thomas, who waited with desperate hope in his eyes. Yes, Sarah said finally. He is. Lily studied Thomas with those serious eyes. Why don't you live with us like Emma's daddy? It's complicated, sweetheart, Sarah said. Grown-ups always say that when they don't want to explain, Lily observed. Are you a good daddy or a bad daddy? Thomas knelt down. I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to be any kind of daddy. But I'd like to try, if your mommy will let me. Mommy, can he? Sarah felt the weight of 6 years of single parenthood, of choices made in anger and hurt, of a little girl who deserved to know her father. We'll see, she said finally. But not tonight. Tonight we need to go home. Can I have a hug first? Lily asked Thomas. Emma says daddies give the best hugs. Thomas looked at Sarah, seeking permission. She nodded slightly. As Thomas carefully hugged his daughter for the first time, Sarah saw him break. Tears streamed down his face as he held Lily, who patted his back with her small hand. It's okay, Lily said matter-of-factly. Mummy says crying helps wash the sad away. Your mummy is very wise, Thomas managed. The wisest, Lily agreed. She knows everything, like how to make boo-boos better and why the sky is blue and how to make the best grilled cheese sandwiches. I'd like to learn about those sandwiches sometime, Thomas said, releasing her reluctantly. We'll see, Lily echoed her mother's words, making Sarah almost smile despite everything. As they walked back through the reception hall, chaos had erupted. Victoria was gone, guests were whispering, and the wedding coordinator looked ready to faint. Thomas's best man rushed over. Tom, what the hell happened? Victoria left in tears, said the wedding's off? I'll explain later, James. Can you handle things here? Handle things? Tom, this is your wedding. Not anymore. Thomas turned to Sarah. Can I at least drive you home? We need to talk about arrangements. We have our car, Sarah said firmly. Then can I follow you? Please, Sarah. I've missed 6 years. Don't make me miss another night. Sarah wanted to say no, wanted to protect the life she'd built, the walls she'd erected. But Lily was looking between them with such hope. Fine. But just to talk. The drive home was surreal. Sarah kept checking her rearview mirror, seeing Thomas's Bentley following her modest Honda. Lily chattered from the back seat about the wedding, seemingly unbothered by the drama. I liked the cake and the dancing, but everyone seemed sad at the end. Weddings are supposed to be happy. Sometimes grown-ups make things complicated, Sarah said. There's that word again, Lily sighed dramatically, making Sarah actually laugh. Their apartment building was a far cry from Thomas's world. Sarah had worked hard to afford a 2-bedroom in a safe neighborhood with good schools, but it was still just a normal middle-class life. Thomas looked out of place in the small living room, his designer tuxedo at odds with the toy-strewn floor and mismatched furniture. "Lily, why don't you get ready for bed? I'll be in to read you a story soon." "Can Mr. Thomas, Daddy, read it?" Lily asked hopefully. "We'll see," Sarah said, her standard response when she needed time to think. After Lily skipped off, Sarah and Thomas stood awkwardly in the living room. "She's incredible," Thomas said softly. "Smart, kind, confident. You've done an amazing job." "No thanks to you. I deserve that." He ran his hand through his hair, messing up the wedding styling. "Sarah, I know I have no right to ask for anything, but I need to know. Why didn't you tell me?" Sarah sank onto the couch, suddenly exhausted. "Tell you what exactly? Call you up after you dumped me for being unsuitable and say, 'Hey, I'm pregnant,' so your family could pressure me to terminate or offer me money to disappear? Or worse, try to take her from me? I wouldn't have. You wouldn't have, but your parents, your lawyers, the same people who threatened me to stay away from you?" Sarah's laugh was bitter. "I know exactly what would have happened." Thomas sat heavily in the armchair across from her. "They threatened you? Oh, you didn't know? Your mother visited me the day after you ended things, made it very clear that if I tried to trap you or make any claims on the family, they'd destroy me. Said they had evidence I was a gold digger, that I'd targeted you. All lies, but who would believe a nobody against the Mitchell family?" "My God, Sarah, I had no idea." "Of course you didn't. You were too busy being the dutiful son, preparing to marry whatever socialite they picked out for you. I never married anyone, not until today, and look how that turned out." "Why Victoria?" Sarah asked, the question that had been burning all day. "Of all the people in the world, why my best friend?" Thomas leaned back, looking older than his years. "I didn't know she was your friend. She never mentioned you by name. Just that she had a friend with a daughter. When I met her at that charity gala, she was funny and kind and didn't seem to care about my money. She reminded me of me," Sarah finished. "Yes. God help me, yes. I've spent 6 years looking for you in other women, and when I couldn't find you, I thought maybe Victoria was close enough. I thought I could learn to love her the way I loved you. But you couldn't. No. And then I saw Lily, and it was like the universe was laughing at me, showing me exactly what I'd thrown away." "Mommy, I'm ready for my story," Lily called from her room. Sarah stood. "I'll be right back." Could I come? Just to watch?" Sarah wanted to say no, but she thought about all the bedtime stories Lily had missed with her father, all the moments stolen by pride and fear and anger. "Don't make me regret this," she warned. Lily's room was an explosion of pink and purple, with drawings covering every wall and stuffed animals on every surface. She was tucked in bed, holding her favorite bear. "You both came," she exclaimed happily. "Just for tonight," Sarah cautioned, sitting on the bed. "What story do you want?" "The one about the princess who saves herself," Lily said immediately. "But maybe Daddy can help tell it." Sarah looked at Thomas, who stood uncertainly in the doorway. "Do you know any stories?" "My mother used to tell me stories," he said quietly, "about brave knights and clever princesses and dragons who were actually lonely and just needed friends." "I like dragons," Lily announced. "Tell me that one." As Thomas awkwardly settled on the floor beside the bed and began telling a story his mother had told him decades ago, Sarah watched her daughter's face light up. This was what Lily had been missing, not just a father, but a connection to a whole other family history. When the story ended and Lily's eyes were drooping, she reached out and touched Thomas's face. "You have sad eyes like Mommy sometimes gets," she observed, "but they're less sad now." "That's because I'm here with you," Thomas said honestly. "Will you come back tomorrow?" Thomas looked at Sarah. "That's up to your mommy." "Please, Mommy." Sarah saw 6 years of single motherhood, of being everything to this little girl. And she saw 6 years of Lily asking about her daddy, of Father's Day cards made for Grandpa instead, of watching other children with 2 parents. "We'll talk about it," she said finally. "Sleep now, baby." After kissing Lily goodnight, they returned to the living room. Thomas looked wrecked, his emotions raw. "I've missed everything," he said. "First words, first steps, first day of school." "Yes, you have. I want to make it right. I want to be in her life." "It's not that simple, Thomas. You can't just walk in and play daddy when it's convenient. She needs consistency, stability. She needs someone who won't choose money over her when things get hard." "I'm not that man anymore," Thomas said firmly. "My parents are dead. The company is mine. There's no one to pressure me, no inheritance to protect. I can make my own choices now." "But you already made your choice. You chose your family's money over our family, and today you chose to marry someone else. A marriage that lasted less than 3 hours," Thomas pointed out. "Sarah, I know I screwed up. I know I failed you and Lily in the worst possible way, but I'm here now, begging for a chance to make it right." "And what about Victoria? She was my friend, Thomas. Maybe not my best friend, but still my friend. And now she hates me." "That's not your fault. It's mine. I should never have proposed to her when I was still in love with you." The words hung in the air. Sarah's heart clenched. "Don't," she whispered. "Don't say things like that." "Why not? It's the truth. I've loved you every day for 6 years. I've compared every woman to you. I've dreamed about you, looked for you, mourned losing you. And now I find out we have a daughter, this incredible little girl who's everything good about both of us, and you expect me to just walk away again. I expect you to think about what's best for Lily, not what you want, not what makes you feel better about your choices, but what's best for her. And you think growing up without a father is best? I think growing up with a father who might leave again is worse than no father at all." Thomas stood, pacing to the window. "What do you want me to do, Sarah? How do I prove I'm not going anywhere?" "I don't know. I honestly don't know if you can." He turned back to her, and she saw the boy she'd fallen in love with all those years ago. Before the money complicated everything, before his family interfered, before choices were made that couldn't be undone. "Let me try," he said simply. "Let me prove to both of you that I can be the man I should have been 6 years ago. Give me a chance to be Lily's father, a real father, not just a checkbook or a weekend visitor. Please." Sarah thought about Victoria's shattered face, about 6 years of struggling alone, about Lily's joy at having her daddy read her a story. "Probation," she said finally. "You get a probationary period. You show up when you say you will. You put Lily first, you respect my rules and boundaries, and if you hurt her, if you disappoint her even once, you're gone. No second chances, no legal battles. You just walk away and don't come back. I'll sign anything you want, whatever makes you feel safe. This isn't about me feeling safe. This is about Lily having a father she can count on." "I understand. When can I see her again?" "Tomorrow's Sunday. You can take her to the park for 2 hours. Supervised, I'll be there the whole time." "That's fair." "Thomas?" Sarah stood, wrapping her arms around herself. "What you did today, marrying Victoria when you didn't love her, that was cruel. To her and to yourself. Don't be that man around my daughter." "Our daughter," he corrected gently, "and I won't. I promise." After he left, Sarah sat in the dark living room, processing the day. This morning she'd been a single mother with a secret. Tonight, her secret was out. Her friend hated her, and her daughter's father was back in their lives. Her phone buzzed, a text from Victoria. "I hope you're happy. You got what you wanted." Sarah typed back, "I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this." But Victoria had already blocked her. The next morning, Lily was up at dawn, excited about seeing her daddy again. She changed outfits 3 times, finally settling on her favorite purple dress with the twirly skirt. "Do you think Daddy likes purple?" she asked anxiously. "I think Daddy likes you no matter what color you wear," Sarah assured her. Thomas arrived exactly on time, dressed down in jeans and a sweater, looking more like the man she'd fallen in love with than the billionaire he'd become. "Hi, Daddy!" Lily launched herself at him and he caught her, spinning her around. "Hi, Princess! Ready for the park?" "Yes. Mommy, are you ready?" "I'm ready," Sarah said, grabbing her jacket. The park was busy with weekend families. Sarah watched Thomas push Lily on the swings, his face lit up with wonder every time she laughed. Other parents probably assumed they were a normal family out for a Sunday morning. If only they knew. "Higher, Daddy! Higher!" Lily shrieked with delight. "Any higher and you'll fly away," Thomas laughed. "Maybe I'm a bird. Tweet, tweet." Sarah found herself smiling despite everything. This was what Lily had been missing. Not just a father, but this, the pure joy of playing with someone who was amazed by her very existence. When Lily ran off to play on the slides, Thomas sat beside Sarah on the bench. "Thank you for this," he said quietly. "Don't thank me. Just don't screw it up." "I won't. Sarah, I need to tell you something about why I really chose the money." "I don't want to hear it. Please, you deserve the whole truth," Sarah sighed. "Fine. Talk." "My father was dying. Pancreatic cancer. He had maybe 6 months left. He told me if I didn't end things with you and agree to an arranged marriage, he'd cut me off completely. Not just me. He'd destroy the company, fire thousands of employees, liquidate everything out of spite." Sarah turned to stare at him. "What?" "He'd rather see his life's work burn than have it go to a son who married beneath the family name. I thought if I just agreed, if I played along until he died, I could fix things after. I could find you and explain and we'd figure it out. But he didn't die in 6 months. No, he held on for 2 more years. By then you were gone, and I was trapped in the role I'd agreed to play. And then when he finally died and I was free, I couldn't find you anywhere." "That doesn't change anything," Sarah said, but her voice was softer. "You still chose them over me. I chose thousands of jobs over my own happiness. I chose to be a martyr instead of fighting for us, and I'll regret it every day for the rest of my life." They watched Lily climb the jungle gym, fearless and determined. "She gets that from you," Thomas said. "The fearlessness. She gets it from both of us. You were fearless once too before the money made you cautious. Maybe she can teach me to be brave again. Maybe." If you're enjoying this story about second chances and the complicated nature of love, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more emotional journeys. The weeks that followed were a careful dance of boundaries and tentative trust. Thomas showed up every time he said he would. He learned Lily's favorite foods, her bedtime routines, her fears and dreams. He attended her dance recital, sitting in the audience with tears in his eyes as she twirled across the stage. "Daddy cried at my recital," Lily informed Sarah matter-of-factly. "Happy tears," he said. "Lots of daddies cry at recitals," Sarah assured her. "Do you think he'll come to all of them now?" "I think he'll try." And he did try. Thomas rearranged board meetings around school pickups. He learned to braid hair from YouTube videos. He read every parenting book he could find, trying to catch up on 6 years of missed knowledge. "You don't have to be perfect," Sarah told him one afternoon as he stressed over getting Lily's sandwich just right. "She doesn't need perfect. She needs present." "I'm trying to make up for lost time." "You can't. That time is gone. Focus on making new memories instead of mourning old ones." Slowly, tentatively, they found a rhythm. Thomas would take Lily on Saturdays, bringing her home exhausted and happy, full of stories about museums and zoos and ice cream for lunch. "Don't tell Mommy." Sarah started to relax, to believe maybe this could work, until the day Victoria showed up at her door. It had been 2 months since the wedding disaster. Victoria looked different, thinner, her usually perfect appearance slightly disheveled. "We need to talk," she said without preamble. Sarah let her in, bracing for anger, but Victoria just looked tired. "I'm pregnant," she said baldly. 3 months. It's not Thomas's." Sarah's mouth fell open. "What? Remember that conference in Vegas 4 months ago? I had a one-night stand. Stupid, I know. But I was so tired of being perfect, of waiting for Mr. Right. And then I met Thomas a few weeks later and thought it was fate. I thought I could pass the baby off as his after we married." "Victoria, I know. I'm a hypocrite. I stood there judging you for keeping secrets when I was keeping a bigger one." Victoria laughed bitterly. "Karma's a bitch, isn't it? What are you going to do?" "I don't know. The father was a stranger. I don't even know his last name. and now everyone knows about the wedding fiasco. My parents are mortified. I'm the scandal of the season. I'm sorry, Sarah said, meaning it. I never wanted any of this to happen. I know. I was angry, but I know. You were protecting Lily. I would have done the same. Victoria looked around the apartment, taking in the toys and photos. Is she here? She's with Thomas. It's their Saturday. Victoria nodded slowly. Is he good with her? He's wonderful with her, like he was born to be a father. That must be hard, seeing what you missed out on. Sarah considered her words carefully. It's complicated. I'm happy Lily has her father. But yes, sometimes I watch them together and think about what could have been. Do you still love him? The question hung between them like a loaded gun. I don't know, Sarah admitted. I love who he was. I'm still learning who he is now. He loves you. He always did. I think I knew that even when I was walking down the aisle. The way he looked when he saw Lily, it wasn't just about discovering he had a daughter. It was about realizing you'd been that close all along. Victoria, why are you here? Because I need a friend, and because I owe you an apology. I was so angry about you keeping the secret that I didn't think about why you kept it. You were protecting your daughter from a man who'd already chosen money over love once. That's not betrayal, that's motherhood. Sarah felt tears prick her eyes. I should have told you when you started dating him. I panicked, and then it seemed too late. We both made mistakes. Can we try to move past them? I'd like that. They hugged, both crying, and Sarah felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She'd missed her friend more than she'd admitted. So, Victoria said, wiping her eyes, want to help me figure out how to be a single mother? You seem to have it down. First rule, coffee, lots and lots of coffee. They were laughing when the door opened and Lily burst in, Thomas close behind. Mommy, Daddy took me to the Science Museum and I saw dinosaurs and touched a real meteorite and... Miss Victoria! Lily launched herself at Victoria, who caught her with a surprised laugh. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? I'm good. Did you know I have a daddy now? Well, I always had one, but now I know him, and he takes me places and reads me stories. That's wonderful, Victoria said, her eyes meeting Thomas's over Lily's head. I'm very happy for you. Thomas looked uncomfortable but determined. Victoria, how are you? Pregnant and scandalous. Thanks for asking. His eyes widened. Oh, Congratulations? Wrong response, but I'll take it. She set Lily down. I should go. Sarah, call me later. Of course. After Victoria left, Thomas turned to Sarah. Are you two okay now? We're working on it. She's going through a lot. Pregnant, but we never... I know it's not yours, it's complicated. Everything about our lives is complicated, Thomas said wryly. Daddy, can you stay for dinner? Lily asked hopefully. Mommy's making spaghetti. That's up to your mum, princess. Sarah looked at her daughter's hopeful face, then at Thomas, who was trying not to look hopeful himself. Set an extra place, Lily, she said finally. Dinner was surprisingly easy. Lily chatted about her day. Thomas helped in the kitchen without being asked, and for a moment they felt like a real family, the kind Sarah had dreamed about before everything went wrong. This is nice, Thomas said quietly as they cleaned up, Lily having retreated to play with her toys. Don't get used to it, Sarah warned, but her tone was gentle. What if I want to? Thomas, I know. Too fast. Being here with you both, it feels right. It feels like home. This isn't your home. No, but you and Lily are. He dried the last dish carefully. I should tell you, I've been seeing a therapist. Sarah looked at him in surprise. You have? Started right after the wedding disaster. I figured if I was going to be a father, I should probably deal with my issues first. The guilt, the family trauma, all of it. That's really good, Thomas. She says I have a lot of work to do, but she also says the fact that I want to do it is a good sign. Daddy, come see what I built, Lily called from the living room. As Thomas went to admire whatever creation she'd made, Sarah watched them together. He was trying so hard and Lily was blossoming under his attention. No, she couldn't go down that road. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But when Thomas read Lily her bedtime story, doing all the voices and making her giggle, Sarah felt the walls around her heart crack just a little. "Stay for coffee?" she offered after Lily was asleep. "Really? Just coffee and talk. We need to discuss Lily's school situation. They're asking about emergency contacts and whether you should be listed." They sat on opposite ends of the couch, cups between them like a barrier. "I'd like to be listed," Thomas said, "if you're comfortable with that." "I think so. You've proven you're reliable." "But Thomas, if something happens at school and they call you, I drop everything and go. I know, she comes first, always." "Good." They discussed logistics, pickup permissions, medical decisions, holiday schedules, all the mundane details of co-parenting that felt both too normal and completely surreal. "Christmas is coming up," Thomas mentioned carefully. "I'd like to spend it with her, with both of you if possible. We'll see how things go." "Fair enough." He paused. "Sarah, can I ask you something?" "Depends on the question. Are you happy? Not about us or this situation, but in general. Are you happy with your life?" Sarah considered. "I'm content. I have Lily. I have my work. I have friends. It's a good life. But are you happy? Are you?" "No," he admitted. "I have everything money can buy, and none of what matters. Except now I have Lily. And maybe..." He trailed off. "Don't," Sarah warned. "Right. Sorry." He stood to leave. "Thank you for dinner, and for letting me be part of her life." "Thomas," she called as he reached the door. "You're doing good. With her. Keep it up." His smile was radiant. "I will. I promise." The weeks turned to months. Thomas became a fixture in their lives, as natural as breathing. He was there for parent-teacher conferences, doctor's appointments, random Tuesday dinners when Lily called and asked. "You're letting him in?" Victoria observed during one of their renewed coffee dates. She was showing now, glowing with pregnancy despite her circumstances. "He's Lily's father. I have to let him in." "That's not what I mean, and you know it." Sarah fidgeted with her cup. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Sarah, honey, you're wearing the earrings he gave you 6 years ago." Sarah's hand flew to her ear. She'd put them on without thinking, the small diamond studs he'd given her for their first anniversary. "They match my outfit," she said weakly. "Mm-hmm. And I'm sure it's coincidence that you happened to be wearing his favorite perfume when he picked up Lily yesterday." "You weren't even there." Lily mentioned it. "Kids notice everything. It's nothing, we're co-parenting, that's all." "Is that why he looks at you like you hung the moon? Why you light up when he walks in a room?" "I do not light up." "Sarah, you're glowing right now just talking about him. This is about Lily, not me. She deserves to have both parents in her life." "And what do you deserve?" The question haunted Sarah for days. What did she deserve? She'd spent so long focused on what Lily needed, she'd forgotten to think about her own needs. "Mommy, are you and Daddy going to get married?" Lily asked one night out of the blue. "What? No, baby. Why would you ask that? Emma's parents got divorced, but then they got married again. She said sometimes people need time apart to remember why they love each other." It's not the same thing, sweetheart." "But you loved Daddy before, right? When you made me?" Sarah's face burned. "Yes, I loved him then." "And he loved you?" "Yes." "So, maybe you just need to remember, like Emma's parents, from the mouths of babes. It's more complicated than that, baby. Grown-ups always say that," Lily sighed. "But Emma says love is simple. You either do or you don't." That night, Sarah lay awake thinking about love and simplicity and second chances, about Thomas showing up day after day, proving himself, about the way he looked at her when he thought she wasn't watching, about how her heart still skipped when he smiled. Her phone buzzed. A text from Thomas. "Lily left her library book here. I can drop it off in the morning, or you can grab it when you pick her up Sunday." Such a mundane exchange. So why did it make her smile? I'll get it Sunday. Thanks for checking. Of course. Good night, Sarah. Good night, Thomas. She almost typed more, almost said something about feelings and chances and remembering how to love, but she didn't. Not yet, maybe not ever, or maybe, just maybe, someday. The breaking point came, as these things do, unexpectedly. Sarah had the flu. The real flu, not just a cold. She was miserable, feverish, and could barely get out of bed. Her usual babysitter was unavailable, and she was trying to figure out how to manage Lily when her phone rang. Victoria told me you're sick, Thomas said without preamble. I'm coming to get Lily. It's not your day. Sarah, you can barely talk. Let me help. She wanted to protest, to maintain the boundaries they'd carefully established, but she felt awful, and Lily needed care. Okay, she croaked. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Have you eaten? Taken medicine? Seen a doctor? Thomas, right, 20 minutes. He showed up with soup, medicine, and a determined expression. Lily, pack a bag. You're staying with me for a few days until Mommy feels better. Is that okay, Mommy? Lily asked, already excited. Sarah nodded weakly. Be good. I'm always good. Thomas ushered Lily to her room, then returned to Sarah. When's the last time you ate? Yesterday, maybe. Sarah. His voice was disapproving. He heated up the soup, helped her sit up, and watched to make sure she ate at least half. You don't have to. Yes, I do. You've been taking care of everyone else for years. Let someone take care of you for once. She was too tired to argue, too sick to maintain walls. When he tucked her back into bed and pressed a cool cloth to her forehead, she caught his hand. Thank you, she whispered. Always, he replied softly. The next few days blurred together. Thomas kept Lily but brought her by daily to see Sarah from the doorway. He texted updates, photos, funny stories about their adventures. He dropped off food and medicine, always checking that she was improving. By the time Sarah was well enough to function, something had shifted. The careful distance she'd maintained had crumbled in the face of his quiet care. Mommy, you're better. Lily launched herself into Sarah's arms when Thomas brought her home. Much better, baby. Did you have fun with Daddy? The best. We made pancakes and went to the aquarium and he taught me to play chess. Chess, you're 5, almost 6, and Daddy says I'm a natural strategist. Strategist, Thomas corrected gently. And you are. As Lily ran to unpack, Sarah faced Thomas. Thank you for everything. I don't know what I would have done. You would have managed, you always do. But I'm glad I could help. He paused. It felt good. Taking care of both of you. Like maybe I was finally doing something right. You've been doing things right for months, Thomas. Have I? Sometimes I still feel like I'm playing catch-up, like I'll never make up for what I missed. You won't. But that doesn't mean you can't be amazing going forward. He looked at her with such intensity she had to look away. Sarah, I need to say something. Thomas, please. I've been in therapy for 6 months. I've done the work. I understand why I made the choices I did, why I was too weak to fight for us. And I understand why you protected Lily from that version of me. But I'm not that man anymore. I know, she said quietly. Do you? Because sometimes I think you're still waiting for me to choose money over family, to disappoint you again, to prove you right for keeping me away. That's not... It is. And I understand. Trust takes time to rebuild. But Sarah, I need you to know, I will never choose anything over Lily, or over you if you'd let me. Don't, she whispered. Why? Why can't I tell you I still love you? Why can't I say that every day with you both is a gift I don't deserve but cherish anyway? Because I can't, her voice broke. Can't what? Can't survive losing you again. The words exploded out of her. I barely survived the first time. If I let you back in, really in, and you leave again, I won't. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. Sarah, look at me. He waited until she met his eyes. I have spent every day for 6 years regretting my choice. I have worked to become a man worthy of you and Lily. I will never, ever choose anything over my family again. You are my family. both of you. Mommy? Daddy? Why are you both crying? Lily stood in the hallway looking concerned. Happy tears, baby, Sarah managed. Oh, good. Those are the best kind. Lily came over and hugged them both. Group hug. As they stood there, the three of them embracing, Sarah felt the last of her walls crumble. This was her family, broken and rebuilt, complicated and messy, but hers. I love you, Daddy, Lily said, her voice muffled against his shirt. I love you too, Princess, more than all the stars. And Mommy? What about Mommy? Thomas asked, his eyes finding Sarah's. Do you love her too? Yes, he said simply. I do. Good, because she loves you back, she told her diary. Lily, Sarah gasped, mortified. What? It's true, I can read now, you know. Thomas was trying not to laugh. Is that so? Uh-huh. She writes about you lots, about your nice eyes and how you make her smile and… Okay, Sarah interrupted. That's enough sharing for today. But Mommy, Lily, why don't you go pick a movie for us to watch? Thomas suggested. Can you both stay? Sarah and Thomas looked at each other, a whole conversation in a glance. Yes, Sarah said finally. We can both stay. As Lily ran off, Thomas stepped closer. Your diary, huh? Shut up. Nice eyes? Thomas, making you smile? I'm going to ground that child. Sarah. His voice went serious. Is it true? She could lie, could rebuild the walls, could protect herself. Instead, she chose truth. Yes. You love me? I never stopped. That was the problem. He cupped her face gently. That's not a problem, that's a miracle. Thomas, I know we have things to work through. I know trust takes time. But Sarah, we have a chance here. A real chance to be the family we should have been from the start. Please don't let fear rob us of that. I'm scared, she admitted. Me too. Terrified, actually. But I'm more scared of wasting another day not being with you both. Daddy! I picked Frozen, Lily called. Of course you did, Sarah muttered, making Thomas laugh. Come on, he said, taking her hand. Let's go watch a movie with our daughter. Our daughter. Such simple words. Such a profound truth. As they settled on the couch, Lily between them, Sarah let herself imagine this being their life. Movie nights and family dinners, shared jokes and bedtime stories. Not perfect, but real. This is nice, Lily sighed contentedly, snuggling between them. Yeah, Sarah agreed, catching Thomas's eye over their daughter's head. It really is. As Elsa sang about letting go, Sarah made a decision. She'd spent 6 years holding on to hurt and fear. Maybe it was time to let that go too. Thomas, she whispered, as Lily became absorbed in the movie. Stay. After the movie. We should talk. His hand found hers across Lily's back. Okay. The movie ended with Lily fast asleep, drooling slightly on Thomas's shirt. He carried her to bed with practiced ease, and Sarah watched from the doorway as he tucked her in, kissing her forehead gently. Sweet dreams, princess, he whispered. Back in the living room, they sat facing each other, the weight of unspoken words between them. I've been seeing a therapist too, Sarah admitted. Started a few months ago. I realized I had my own issues to work through. Trust, abandonment, control. What did they say? That I use Lily as a shield, that I hide behind being her protector to avoid dealing with my own pain, that I'm so afraid of being hurt again, I won't let myself be happy. Are they right? Probably, yes. She took a breath. Thomas, when you left, something broke in me. Not just my heart, but my ability to believe in forever, in promises, in love that stays. I know. I broke that, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to repair it if you'll let me. What if you can't? What if I'm too damaged, too careful now? Then we'll be damaged and careful together. Sarah, I'm not asking you to forget the past or pretend it didn't happen. I'm asking you to consider a future, with me, with us as a family. I want that, she admitted. I want you with Lily and I want that life. But wanting and trusting are different things. So we go slow. We date. We rebuild. We do it right this time. While co-parenting, that's complicated. Everything about us is complicated, but Lily's right. Love is simple. I love you. You love me. Everything else is just details. Sarah laughed despite herself, quoting our 5-year-old now. She's wise beyond her years, gets it from her mother. Thomas, go out with me, one date, a real date, not a family activity, just us. Let me show you who I am now. Let me court you properly this time. Court me? What is this, the 1800s? You deserve to be courted, to be wooed, to be chosen every single day. I don't know. One date. If it's terrible, we go back to just co-parenting. But if it's not, then maybe we try for the life we should have had all along. Sarah looked at this man who'd broken her heart and was trying so hard to heal it, who showed up every day for their daughter, who'd taken care of her when she was sick, who looked at her like she was everything. Okay, she said finally. One date. His smile was like sunrise. Really? Really? But Thomas? No grand gestures, no trying to impress me with money. Just be you. Just me is all I have to offer anymore. Good. That's all I want. Have you ever gotten a second chance at love? Sometimes the best relationships are the ones that survive the storms. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Their first date was simple. Dinner at a small Italian restaurant, the kind of place they'd gone when they were young and broke and in love. Thomas was nervous, fumbling with his menu, spilling water. Relax, Sarah laughed. It's just me. That's why I'm nervous. You matter. We've had dinner hundreds of times now. Not like this. Not as a date. Not with possibilities. The word hung between them. Possibilities. Tell me about your therapy, Sarah said, steering to safer ground. It's hard, he admitted. Unpacking years of family dysfunction, understanding why I was so willing to sacrifice my happiness for their approval. My therapist says I was trained from birth to put the family legacy first. And now I realize the only legacy that matters is the one I leave for Lily, and I want that legacy to be love, not money, choice, not obligation. That's beautiful, Thomas. I mean it. I've restructured everything. The company runs itself now. I'm not tied to it the way my father was. I can be present, I can be a dad, I can be... He paused. Whatever you need me to be. I need you to be yourself, the real you, not who you think I want. The real me is desperately in love with you and trying not to screw this up. Sarah's heart skipped. Thomas? Too much? No, just intense. I've had 6 years to think about what I'd say if I got another chance. I'm not wasting it on small talk. Fair enough. Then I should tell you, I'm terrified, but I'm more terrified of missing this chance, of letting fear win again. Fear won the first time, for both of us. You were afraid to tell me about Lily. I was afraid to stand up to my family. But look what we built despite that fear, an amazing daughter, a friendship, a foundation for something more. When did you become so wise? Expensive therapy and a 5-year-old philosopher will do that. They talked through dinner, really talked. Not about Lily or schedules or logistics, but about dreams and fears and who they'd become in the years apart. I used to be so angry, Sarah admitted over dessert. Not just at you, but at myself for not fighting harder, for not being enough to make you stay. You were always enough. I was the one who wasn't. We both made mistakes, but we got Lily out of it. So maybe they weren't mistakes. Maybe they were just the path we had to take. That's very Zen of you. I've been reading Buddhism books, trying to find peace with the past. And have you? Getting there. Having you and Lily in my life helps. It's hard to regret choices that led to her. After dinner, they walked along the waterfront, the city lights reflecting on the water. Thomas took her hand tentatively, and she let him. This is nice, she said. It is. Sarah? I know we're taking things slow, but I need you to know. I'm all in. Whatever pace you need, whatever boundaries you set, I'll respect them. But I'm not dating you casually. I'm dating you with the intention of building a life together. If that's too much pressure—" "It's not," she interrupted. "I'm glad you're being clear because I'm not casual either. I can't be, not with Lily involved. So if we're doing this, we're doing it for real." "For real," he agreed. "No more running. No more choosing fear. No more secrets. Complete honesty, even when it's hard." They stopped walking, facing each other under a streetlight. The moment felt weighted with possibility. "Can I kiss you?" Thomas asked softly. Sarah's breath caught. "It's been 6 years." "I know. We can wait if—" She kissed him. Soft and tentative at first, then deeper as muscle memory took over. He still tasted the same, still held her like she was precious. When they pulled apart, both were breathless. "Wow," she whispered. "Yeah." He touched his forehead to hers. "I've missed you so much, Sarah. Not just this, but you. Your laugh, your strength, the way you see the world. I've missed you too. Even when I hated you, I missed you." Past tense on the hate. "Most days," she teased. He laughed, pulling her close. "I'll take it. We should get back. The babysitter charges extra after 11. "Right. Responsibilities." But neither moved, standing there holding each other like teenagers who didn't want the night to end. "Thomas?" "Yeah?" This was a good date. Good enough for a second one. "I think so. But next time, Lily picks the restaurant." "Deal. She'll probably choose Chuck E. Cheese." "Probably. Still interested?" "Sarah, I'd go anywhere with you two. Chuck E. Cheese, the moon, a volcano. Anywhere. Let's start with Chuck E. Cheese and work our way up to volcanoes." Sounds like a plan. The drive home was comfortable, filled with the kind of easy conversation they'd had years ago. When they reached Sarah's apartment, Thomas walked her to the door. "Thank you for tonight," he said. "For the chance. Thank you for being patient, for proving yourself with Lily first, for not pushing when I needed space. I'd wait forever for you, Sarah, but I'm really glad I don't have to." She kissed him again, quick but sweet. "Good night, Thomas." "Good night. Tell Lily I'll see her tomorrow for our park day." "I will." Inside, Sarah leaned against the door, touching her lips. The babysitter, a teenage neighbor, looked up from her homework with a grin. "Good date?" "The best," Sarah admitted. "About time. Lily's been plotting to get you two together for months." "She has?" "Oh yeah. She's got a whole plan. Something about parent traps and shared activities. Kid's a mastermind." Sarah laughed. Her daughter, the 5-year-old matchmaker. After paying the babysitter, Sarah peeked into Lily's room. Her daughter was sprawled across the bed, one arm flung out, completely peaceful. "Sweet dreams, my little schemer," she whispered. In her own room, Sarah pulled out her journal, the one Lily had apparently been reading. She wrote about the date, about the kiss, about the hope blooming in her chest despite her fears. Then, on impulse, she texted Thomas. "Lily's awake at 7, bring breakfast." His response was immediate. "Pancakes or waffles?" "Both. She'll insist on both." "Both it is. Sleep well, Sarah." "You too." She fell asleep smiling, dreaming of possibilities and second chances and a future that looked brighter than anything she'd dared imagine. The next morning, Lily's shriek of joy when Thomas arrived with breakfast could probably be heard 3 floors down. "Daddy, you brought pancakes and waffles." "Your mom said you'd want both." "Mommy knows everything." Lily looked between them suspiciously. "Why are you both smiling so much?" "We had a nice dinner last night," Sarah said carefully. "Together, like a date?" "Yes, like a date. Finally!" Lily threw her hands up. "Do you know how hard I've been working to get you two together?" Thomas choked on his coffee. "You've been working on it?" "Duh. You love each other, but you're both scared. So I had to help. Emma's parents needed help too, and now they're married again." "Is that so?" Sarah tried not to laugh. "Yep. So are you boyfriend and girlfriend now?" Sarah and Thomas exchanged glances. "We're dating," Thomas said carefully. "Taking things slow. But you'll get married eventually, right? And we'll all live together, and maybe get a dog?" Whoa there, slow down, Sarah said. One step at a time. Grown-ups are so slow, Lily sighed dramatically. But okay, as long as you're trying. We're definitely trying, Thomas assured her. Good. Now can we eat? I'm starving. As they shared breakfast like a real family, Sarah caught Thomas's eye. He winked, and she felt that flutter in her stomach she'd thought was gone forever. Maybe Lily was right. Maybe love really was simple. Maybe it just took adults longer to remember that. Hey Lily, Thomas said suddenly, how do you feel about me dating your mum? I feel awesome about it. You should have done it ages ago. And if we decide to be a real family, all of us together, that would be the best thing ever. Lily bounced in her seat. Can we get a dog then? We'll see, Sarah and Thomas said in unison, then laughed. Jinx, Lily shouted. You both owe me a soda. As their daughter explained the complex rules of jinxing, Sarah felt a peace settle over her. This was right. Complicated and messy and requiring work, but right. I love you guys, Lily announced suddenly, syrup on her chin and joy in her eyes. We love you too, baby, Sarah said. So much, Thomas added. More than all the pancakes and waffles in the world. That's a lot of love, Lily said seriously. Yes, Sarah agreed, looking at Thomas. It really is. 6 months later, they were living together. Not in Thomas's penthouse or Sarah's apartment, but in a house they chose together. With a yard for Lily and the dog she'd campaigned for, successfully, with enough rooms for the family they were building. I can't believe you let her talk you into a Great Dane, Sarah said, watching Lily try to walk the massive puppy who was already almost her size. She made a PowerPoint presentation, Thomas defended, with graphs showing how big dogs are actually calmer than small dogs. She's 6.5, and apparently a marketing genius. They watched from the porch as Lily was pulled across the yard by the enthusiastic puppy, laughing the whole way. No regrets? Thomas asked, their old ritual. Not one, Sarah confirmed. You? Only that it took us so long to get here. Maybe we needed that time, to grow, to become who we are now. Maybe, but I'm glad we're here now. Me too. Mummy, Daddy, help! Brutus is trying to eat the flowers. They rushed to save the garden from the aptly named puppy, working together to corral the chaos. Later, muddy and exhausted, they collapsed on the couch, while Lily and Brutus napped on the floor. Is this what you imagined? Sarah asked. When you thought about having a family? No, Thomas admitted. This is better. Messier, louder, more chaotic, but so much better. Even with the dog drool? Especially with the dog drool. Sarah laughed, curling into his side. I love you. I love you too. Both of you. All three of you if we're counting the small horse pretending to be a dog. 4, Sarah said quietly. 4? Did Lily convince you to get another... Wait. Thomas sat up, looking at her. 4. Sarah nodded, hand moving to her still flat stomach. About 8 weeks. I found out this morning. Sarah, are you... We're having a baby. Thomas pulled her into his arms, laughing and crying simultaneously. A baby, another baby, oh my God. Are you happy? Happy doesn't even begin to cover it. Sarah, this is everything. He kissed her deeply. I get to be here this time. For all of it. All of it, she confirmed. Morning sickness, weird cravings, mood swings. Bring it on. I want every second. Even the 3 a.m. feedings? Especially those. Sarah, I missed so much with Lily. I'm not missing anything this time. We should tell her together. She's been asking for a sibling. Of course she has. Probably has a PowerPoint ready about the benefits of brothers versus sisters. They told Lily that evening over dinner. Her reaction was everything they'd hoped. A baby! She jumped up, knocking over her juice in excitement. I'm going to be a big sister. Yes, sweetheart, how do you feel about that? I feel amazing. Can I teach them everything? Can they share my room? Can we name them after Brutus? We are not naming the baby after the dog, Sarah said firmly. But Brutus Jr. would be so cute. No. Brutina if it's a girl. Definitely not. You're no fun, Lily pouted, but she was smiling. When do I get to meet them? Not for about 7 more months. Babies take time to grow. That's forever. It'll go by fast, Thomas assured her, and we'll need your help getting ready. I'll be the best helper, and the best big sister. Even better than Emma's big sister, and she's really good. As Lily rattled off all her plans for the baby, Sarah and Thomas shared a look over her head. This was their life now. Chaotic family dinners, an oversized dog, a precocious 6-year-old and a baby on the way. Nothing like what either had imagined, but everything they needed. The months passed in a blur of doctor's appointments, which Thomas attended religiously, Lily's preparations for sisterhood, and the usual chaos of their blended life. Victoria, now a single mother herself to baby James, became a regular fixture, the two women supporting each other through the challenges of parenthood. I can't believe we're here, Victoria said one afternoon, watching Lily teach James to stack blocks while Brutus supervised. Remember when you were terrified to tell me about Thomas? Remember when you were marrying him, Sarah countered, rubbing her growing belly. Best failed wedding ever, Victoria laughed, though I could have done without the drama. Sorry about that. Don't be. It led us all where we needed to be. You and Thomas together, me with James, Lily with her whole family. Sometimes the worst moments lead to the best outcomes. Speaking of which, Sarah said, would you be the baby's godmother? Victoria's eyes filled with tears. Really? After everything? Because of everything. Your family, Vic. Messy, complicated family, but family nonetheless. They hugged, both crying, while Lily looked on with interest. Are you happy crying again? She asked. Grown-ups cry a lot. Happy tears are good tears, Victoria assured her. I guess. Hey, Aunt Vic, when baby James is bigger, can he marry my new brother or sister? Let's let them learn to walk first, Sarah suggested. But I want to plan the wedding. I'm very good at weddings now. I was in 2 of them. One of which didn't quite work out, Thomas said, entering with snacks. That's because you were marrying the wrong person, Lily said matter-of-factly. Now you're with Mommy, so everything is right. Out of the mouths of babes, Victoria murmured. I'm not a baby. I'm a big kid, and soon I'll be a big sister. The biggest and best, Thomas agreed, scooping her up. Now, who wants to help me walk Brutus? Me! Lily and James both shouted, though James's contribution was mostly enthusiastic babbling. As they all headed out, Sarah and Victoria trailing behind the chaos, Sarah reflected on the journey that had brought them here. The pain, the secrets, the betrayal, the forgiveness, all of it had led to this moment, this family, this life. Penny for your thoughts? Victoria asked. Just thinking about how different everything is from what we planned. Better or worse? Sarah watched Thomas being pulled by Brutus while carrying Lily on his shoulders, James toddling alongside with Victoria's hand in his. Better, she said definitively. So much better. The baby arrived on a rainy Tuesday, much like the day Sarah had first discovered she was pregnant with Lily. But this time, Thomas was there for every moment, holding her hand, whispering encouragement, crying when their son took his first breath. He's perfect, Thomas whispered, cradling the tiny bundle. Absolutely perfect. He looks like you, Sarah said tiredly. Poor kid, Thomas joked, but his eyes were soft with wonder. What should we name him? They debated names for months, with Lily offering increasingly creative suggestions. Brutus Jr. had been definitively vetoed multiple times. Daniel, Sarah said suddenly, after your mother's father. Lily told me you mentioned he was the only one who supported your dreams. Thomas's eyes filled. Daniel Thomas Chen, it's perfect. Can I come in now? Lily's voice called from the hallway. I've been waiting forever. Come meet your brother, Sarah called. Lily burst in, followed by a nurse, and stopped short at the sight of the baby. He's so small, she whispered. Was I that small? Even smaller, Thomas told her. Do you want to hold him? Lily climbed carefully onto the bed, and Thomas helped position the baby in her arms. Hi, Daniel, she said softly. I'm Lily. I'm your big sister. I'm going to teach you everything, like how to pet Brutus gently and how to get extra cookies from Daddy and how to make Mommy laugh when she's tired. All important skills, Sarah agreed, watching her children together. I love him already, Lily announced, even though he doesn't do much yet. That's what family is, Thomas said, loving each other even when we don't do much. Like how you loved Mommy even when she was scared to love you back. Exactly like that. And how Mommy loved you even when you were being silly about money. That too. And how we all love Brutus even though he eats shoes. Well, Sarah started. Yes, Thomas said firmly. Even then. As if summoned, they heard a deep bark from outside. That's Brutus. He knows his brother is here, Lily said excitedly. Dogs can't be brothers with people, Sarah said weakly, too tired to really argue. In our family they can, Lily declared. We make our own rules. And that, Sarah thought, was the perfect summary of their unconventional family. They made their own rules, their own path, their own happiness. Later, as Lily slept in the chair and Daniel nursed, Thomas sat beside Sarah on the hospital bed. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For giving me another chance, for building this with me, for our family. Thank you for proving second chances can work. Think we'll need a third chance for anything? Let's hope not. I don't think my heart can take another 6-year separation. Never again, Thomas promised. You're stuck with me now. You and Lily and Daniel, and probably whatever pet Lily convinces us to adopt next. She's been making noises about a bunny. Of course she has. They sat in comfortable silence, their family complete in this small hospital room. Outside, the rain had stopped, and sunlight streamed through the window. Look, Lily said sleepily, pointing at the rainbow visible through the window. It's like the sky is celebrating baby Daniel. I think you're right, Sarah agreed. Mommy? Daddy? Can I tell you a secret? Always, they said together. I used to wish on stars for a daddy, every night. And then I got one. So then I wished for a baby brother, and I got one. So now I'm going to wish for us to be happy forever. That's a good wish, Thomas said, his voice thick with emotion. The best wish, Sarah agreed. But I don't think I need to wish for it, Lily continued, because we already are happy forever, right? Sarah looked at her family, Thomas holding Daniel, Lily curled between them, even thoughts of Brutus waiting at home, and knew the answer. Right, she confirmed, we already are. And in that hospital room, with rain-washed light streaming in and love filling every corner, their patchwork family was indeed happy. Not perfect, but real, not without challenges, but together, forever. Daddy, Daniel's eating dirt again, Lily called from the backyard. It's organic dirt, 5-year-old Daniel protested, his face smeared with garden soil. Thomas scooped up his son, who giggled uncontrollably. Organic or not, we don't eat dirt, buddy. Brutus does. Brutus does a lot of things we don't do, Sarah said, joining them outside, like sleep on the couch when Mummy specifically said not to. The massive dog, now fully grown and taking up most of the porch, wagged his tail innocently. He was cold, Lily defended. At 11, she was still the dog's fiercest advocate. It's summer, Sarah pointed out. He has thin fur. Nice try. Worth a shot, Lily grinned, looking more like Thomas every day. Mom, Dad, look what I can do. Daniel proceeded to attempt a cartwheel, landing in a heap, but jumping up triumphantly. Amazing, Thomas cheered. Olympic level. Really? Daniel's eyes went wide. Well, maybe with a few more years of practice, Sarah tempered, always the practical one. I'll practice every day. Daniel ran off to attempt more cartwheels, Brutus lumbering after him. Remember when our biggest worry was whether to tell me about Lily? Thomas asked, pulling Sarah close. Now our biggest worry is whether Daniel actually ate dirt or was just wearing it. He definitely ate some, Lily reported, but just a little. He's building immunity. To dirt? To everything, it's science. Where does she get this stuff? Sarah wondered. Have you met her parents? Thomas laughed. Between your stubborn streak and my tendency to overthink, we're lucky she's as normal as she is. I'm exceptionally normal, Lily agreed. Hey, is Aunt Vic coming for dinner? She promised to help me with my science project. She'll be here soon with James, Sarah confirmed. Cool, I'm going to set up my experiment. Lily ran inside, already focused on her next project. Think we should worry about what kind of experiment? Thomas asked. Probably, but let's enjoy 5 minutes of peace first. They sat on the porch swing, watching Daniel attempt increasingly creative gymnastics, while Brutus served as a patient spotter. No regrets? Thomas asked, their old tradition. Not one, Sarah confirmed, though I do sometimes wonder what would have happened if you hadn't chosen the money initially. We wouldn't have Lily, Thomas said immediately. That specific sperm, that specific egg, that specific moment, it all had to happen exactly as it did to create her. Change any variable, and we get a different kid. When did you become so philosophical about biology? When I realized that every mistake, every wrong turn, every moment of pain led us here. To this. Even Victoria's wedding. Especially Victoria's wedding. Without that disaster, we might have gone on avoiding each other forever. Or until Lily tracked you down herself. She was making plans, you know, had your office address and everything. Of course she did. Thomas shook his head. A little mastermind. Mom, Dad, Aunt Vic's here, Daniel shouted, and she brought cookies. Bribery cookies, Victoria called, coming through the gate with James. For whoever helps with homework first. Me! Both children shouted, racing inside. Victoria collapsed beside them on the swing. How do you do this every day? Coffee, Sarah said. Lots of coffee. And wine, Thomas added. Don't forget the wine. Noted. James, honey, don't let Brutus lick your entire face, just half. He's giving me a bath, 7-year-old James protested. You had a bath this morning. That was forever ago. The 3 adults shared the exhausted look of parents everywhere. Remember when we thought life was complicated before kids? Victoria mused. Were we ever that young? Sarah wondered. I have photos from my wedding that suggest we were, Victoria said dryly. Speaking of which, my mother called. She wants to know when I'm getting remarried. What did you tell her? Thomas asked. That I'm focusing on my career and my son. She hung up on me. Her loss, Sarah said firmly. You're amazing just as you are, says the woman living her happily ever after. It took a while to get here, Sarah reminded her, and it's more happily ever after with dirt-eating children and a small horse pretending to be a dog than fairy tale. Still counts, Victoria said. You two give me hope that love exists. It does, Thomas said. It just sometimes takes the long way around. The very long way, Sarah agreed, with stops at Heartbreak Hotel and Bad Decision Junction. Don't forget Secret Baby Boulevard, Victoria added. And Dramatic Wedding Disaster Avenue, Thomas contributed. Worst GPS ever, Sarah laughed. But we all ended up where we needed to be, Victoria said, watching the kids through the window, now deeply engaged in what looked like a baking soda volcano. Even if the route was insane. To insane routes, Thomas raised an imaginary glass. To second chances, Sarah added. To family, however we find it, Victoria finished. They sat in comfortable silence, 3 adults who'd hurt each other, forgiven each other, and built something beautiful from the wreckage of their mistakes. Mom, Dad, Aunt Vic, Lily's voice carried from inside. The volcano exploded everywhere. And to baking soda disasters, Sarah sighed, standing up. I've got paper towels, Thomas said. I've got the mop, Victoria added. As they headed inside to deal with the latest chaos, Sarah caught Thomas's hand. I love you, she said simply. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for letting me try, he replied. Best decision I ever made. Second best, Sarah corrected. The best was Lily. True, though Daniel's pretty great too, when he's not eating dirt. Character building, Thomas said solemnly. You're ridiculous. You love it. I do, Sarah agreed, I really do. And surrounded by chaos and love, baking soda and dog fur, their perfectly imperfect family continued writing their story, one messy, beautiful day at a time, because sometimes the most complicated paths lead to the simplest truths. Love endures. Families come in all forms. Second chances are worth taking. And happily ever after doesn't mean perfect. It just means together. Thank you so much for joining me on this emotional journey of secrets, betrayal, and ultimately redemption and love. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more powerful stories about second chances and the families we choose. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to face an uncomfortable truth? Do you believe in second chances when it comes to love? And what did you think of Lily? Wasn't she the real hero of this story? Remember, sometimes the most painful revelations lead to the most beautiful new beginnings. Life has a way of bringing people together exactly when they need each other most, even if the path is complicated.